What if I told you that there is a way how you can hack your brain to perform on a much higher level? And it is something that you probably have been doing already in your life, sometimes unconsciously. And by learning what that hack is and by utilizing it consciously, you will have a 10x progress that you've never dreamed of. Let's dive into it in today's episode. Hello and welcome to the Artful Maestro Podcast. I'm your host, Nenad Leonart, a harpsichord and historical organist living in the 21st century, helping you and other classical musicians go to the next level. Now, why am I doing this? Because 5-6 years ago, I realized the digital stage is going to be the future of everything. So even before the COVID pandemic started, I started producing videos. I started learning about social media. I started learning on how to market myself as an artist. And slowly but surely, I've made well over 70,000 fans all across the world. I am talking to people. I have advanced my career. And today, I also train and coach classical musicians in these fields because I want to see us succeed. I want to see classical music being cherished and loved all across the world. And the more people I help, that they can reach others and they can touch them with their music, the better for all of us. Today, we're diving into the concept that I call mastermind. This is actually not my term. This is not something that I have invented. It is actually over 100 years old, and it was mentioned by Napoleon Hill. He was probably one of the first authors that really wrote self-help books, like books on how to develop your own character and how to advance your potential in life. And he was talking about this mastermind kind of principle. So before we get into that, let me just quickly mention that this podcast is sponsored by the Artful Shop, which is a place for musicians to get something for themselves or their friends. There's a lot of merchandise. There are headphones, cases, there's like t-shirts, there's like mugs. Go check it out. And if you use the code ARTFUL5 at checkout, you will get an additional 5% off your purchase. Go check out Artful Shop. The link is down in the description below. And let's talk now about masterminds. Okay, so what's a mastermind? A mastermind is basically a group of like-minded individuals that come together and they support each other, they talk to each other, they help each other get to the next level. Now, you might ask, what? That's it? And it does sound really easy, but it's not, because to really get a mastermind right, it requires a lot of fine-tuned knowledge and a lot of clarity on what your goals are and what you want to achieve. So once you have those, then you can start working slowly at your mastermind. Now, again, because this is something that is working kind of subliminally, like we as humans, we are made to be susceptible to this. So it could also go the other way. Let's say if you create a wrong mastermind, you can pretty much destroy your life, okay? And we'll look at the upsides and the downsides of this a little bit later. For now, it's important for you to know that if you are able to pay attention to what kind of relationships you create, and if you can leverage these relationships into a mastermind group that you kind of organize, that you are maybe even at the core of, so you also have control over what happens in it and so on, that is going to change your development drastically. Like what's going to happen is not even going to, that's not even real for you in your brain right now, for several reasons. One of them being that you are not in a mastermind, okay? So once you start using this power, you will see how much you can actually do with it. And it's basically insane. It will 10x your success if you do it correctly. Okay, so let's go and talk about how this actually came to be. The mastermind is based on our societal kind of wiring in our brain. We're wired, I've talked about that already a little bit in this podcast, we're wired to live in tribes. And we're kind of looking to see what is our tribe doing, how are they behaving, what are their values, and then we start identifying with the tribe, and then we also start adapting to it, okay? So we kind of start being part of the tribe. So that means that we have to develop certain skills, we have to adopt a certain value set, we are doing the things that are important in that tribe, and we kind of feel naturally pulled to do that. That's the key. It's not something that we choose to do. It's something that we have this natural pull to go towards. And that's the power of the mastermind, actually. Like when you are able to harness this power, because it does not feel like it's much of a hassle. It does not feel like you have to do a lot to go there or to be there. It just feels natural. So it's a natural development. And you're abusing, or actually not abusing, but kind of using the hack of this social thinking that we have as humans that is kind of adapting us automatically. So the actual clue with the mastermind is that you kind of start picking your own tribe. So, right, we are born in some place of the world, into a specific family, into a specific social class, like whatever that is, that used to be kind of unconsciously our tribe up until now. And we kind of lived our life and associated with the people that we associated, we're kind of just around, right? But very few people have actively been going out and seeking out others that are at another level, that are in another tribe, that are doing something else with their life, so they can kind of learn from them and adapt from them, right? That is also like the power of mentorship and so on. If you want to go to the next level where you are not, that's where people start looking for coaches, for mentors, and so on. And this is, for example, also my role. Like I help others who are not able to do the things that I am because they don't even see that it's possible. They don't even see the world. So kind of my job as a coach is to find out what their goals are and also help them achieve these goals through expanding their consciousness, through helping them see what is possible and what they can do. And like they get support in finding their own path on how they go there. And like that's the mentoring side of it, right? You look for one person that is there, and the mastermind side of it is supercharging that. Okay, so it's not necessarily getting directly educated by these people, but just by spending time with people who are at a certain level or at another level, who are kind of in another tribe. You see where this is going? Just by spending time with them, your brain kind of starts to change. So let's say if you want to leverage this power, you're going to look for people who have already achieved what your goals are, or who are also looking to achieve the same thing as you are. Let's say your goal is to make more money playing concerts. So that could mean different things. That could mean have better paid gigs, like play at more important venues who are able to pay you more, or maybe play at the same venues, but be able to negotiate in a better way so that you get more money. Or maybe it could mean that you just get to play more often at the same venues or new venues, and then you also get to earn more money. Like, let's say with the, same program, so it's not as strenuous for you. There's many different strategies that you can go with. And let's say you're all alone in doing this and you have no one who is really kind of supporting you in that. I know, for example, from my social circle, like when I was just studying, and then the random people that were around me that were also studying music, and when I talk to them, like I always try to peek a little bit into it. What is their social circle? And the social circle that they have is usually some people being, everything is just too hard. I'd rather be teaching, or I'd rather just go into a fixed orchestra or ensemble so I didn't have to take care of all of that. That is all too complicated, or it's too much work. I don't want to do that. And so if you surround yourself with these kind of people and you have the goal of earning more money as a performer, it's kind of double hard because you have everybody around you who doesn't really want to do it. And you also want to do it yourself, but you have no real support. And let's say you had a mastermind group where you have some people who are playing regularly, people who want to improve, people who want to go the same way and even further. So they are thinking maybe 3 years down the road, 5 years, 10 years down the road, what they want to do with their life and how they want to build their career. So that they have like these pillars, right? They're working today for what they are going to have in 10 years. And they are having this great foundation built onto everything. So why not surround yourself with these kind of people so you can actually learn from them and learn together with them? Even if you are, let's say, two of you, and one can focus more and has more of a talent in, let's say, acquiring more concerts, and the other is better at negotiating higher fees. And so you can develop this as a skill, and then you can benefit from each other with the skill. Kind of exchanging information, when you have like trading, for example, like the stock exchange and everything, and then you have like inside information where nobody else knows it, but just like and these other people who are like in the inner circle. Well, that is something to take into account. Like if you start exchanging this information internally, you will have much more accurate information than anything else that you find out there, right? Because these are people who, first of all, you trust because you know that what they're doing, that's serious. You have the same goals, and you want to benefit off each other. So you help them with your skills, and they're going to help you with yours. And that's also one of the powers of the mastermind. Like you kind of go in there and you say, okay, this is the challenge that I'm facing. And you have a whole group of like-minded individuals who are probably facing similar challenges or the same one, or like whatever it is of high interest to them to help you because, first of all, they want to know how you solved it, because probably many of them will have the same problem as well, the same challenge, or they already had it in the past and they found some kind of solution, but they are missing maybe some other solutions to different challenges that they're having that you can provide a solution to. So it's like, I scratch your back, you scratch mine, but in a way that is very constructive and that is helping each other grow. So that's one of the powers. You go directly into it and you get support to your direct challenges. The other one I mentioned in the beginning is like with the tribes, right? When you associate with a certain tribe, your brain is going to start to change. You're going to start to adapt. You're going to adopt their values. You are going to start thinking like they think. You are going to start valuing other things because there are different kinds of goals set in place in the mastermind group than, let's say, your random circle of friends that you grew up with. They might be doing something completely different, and that is of no value to like your brain in regards to evolution of your career. Again, it can be pretty fun to hang out with them and you can have a fun evening and everything. But if you look at like your career or maybe your personal development as an artist, as a person, whatever it is, if you are stuck, quote unquote, stuck with friends that are not really benefiting you there, if you remain associating with them, you're going to become more and more like they are. And you're going to have this internal discrepancy where you kind of have your goals, but it is also tearing you apart because you cannot reach your goals because there's so much of your social circle kind of just naturally pulling you back. So if you want to reach your goals, you want to go and become part of a mastermind. And that is a lot of work. It's a lot of work to like create a group and find an actual mastermind, like find the people who are really willing to commit, because it is also about accountability. It's not just, okay, I'm part of a mastermind and then like do nothing. It is to be part of the group, you have to contribute and you have to also stay true to your word. So basically, if you say, you know what, I'm going to do this and this and this, and then you have the next meeting and then you didn't do that, well, shame on you, right? So there's kind of this also social pressure of you that you have to perform the things that are necessary for you to succeed. So there's like an additional pressure, and not just getting up in the morning and be like, I don't feel like it today. Let's not do that. But you have a group of people who are also advancing themselves. And usually, I don't know how it is with you, but like if you're around with buddies and you go like, it was so hard, or I had this horrible week and I didn't do my stuff. And they're like, it's fine. Just hang out. Like it will turn out okay. And maybe in a mastermind group, you'll have someone who will sit down with you and go like, okay, tell me exactly why. Like, what went wrong there? Why didn't you do the things that you felt like you needed to do? Let's figure that one out. And then you start figuring it out. And that's really cool. So, several reasons why you want to join the mastermind. You have somebody directly to talk to when you have challenges, and you kind of support each other. So that's kind of like a support group. Second, you have this amazing ability of your brain that it kind of naturally adapts to the people that you surround yourself with. So if you have a tribe of people who are going to be successful, guess what? You are going to be successful as well. And then third, there's accountability. So for the times where it kind of gets really tough, where it's really hard and you can't really pull yourself together, guess what? There is accountability. There are people there who are having certain expectations of you, or maybe you have yourself certain expectations towards them because you don't want to let them down and you don't want to let yourself down. And that's kind of also based on self-respect, right? So just go there, show up, and do the work. And that is the actual power of the mastermind. Now, what you want to do is, ideally, you will have 6 to 8 people in this mastermind, and they are really maybe even more further down the road than you are, or at the same level, and you want to organize regular meetings. You don't have to meet in person. I mean, you can, if that's possible, but you can also just meet on Zoom. And then every time somebody is going to talk about the challenge that they're facing, and you can brainstorm as a group how to overcome the challenge and share your experience and see how others are thinking, because that's going to burn itself into your brain subconsciously without you having to do any effort. Just because you're showing up, you have common interests and you have common goals that you can all want to achieve. Ideally, you all are very, very, very similar. And that's kind of really hard to find. So, like, the first step to finding it is to join a group where you can kind of find these people. And that's one of the reasons, or like, that's the main reason why I have created the Artful Maestro Inner Circle, because this is like for actual people who have a specific set of goals, who are classical musicians and who want to achieve these. And it's about being serious. So they are on their way, they are being serious, and they're going to do these things that they're supposed to do. And you know that that's going on. So that is something that you can kind of count on. if you want to take your first step towards finding out what a mastermind even could be, go and visit the Artful Maestro Inner Circle. Go apply there. Everybody can apply for free and be admitted to the group after a short application process, because it's not everybody can join, right? We want to make sure that people are having the same goal, that they are working together towards something. And in the future, I will be probably creating many smaller mastermind groups where we're kind of just going to go and meet on a regular basis and discuss all of these challenges and all the things that we're facing. Because let's be honest, we all have more or less the same issues. We all have more or less the same challenges. And oftentimes in the classical music world, when somebody has solved these, they're not going to tell you how they did it. Which is a pity, I think, because in most cases, they're not telling you because they want to keep like the marbles to themselves, right? They don't want to share. And I feel like if we shared that, we could become even better. So that is why I love like the healthy competition. Whenever I find out something really cool, like I have this so-called $1 million idea, I had several of those, like, oh, I could create like a automation system that cross-posts on all the social media and people don't have to spend their time onto that. Or I can create like this kind of AI assistant that helps out everybody with many different things and so on. So I had like several of these ideas, what I could do to help people deal with certain things. Well, I go and not keep them to myself, but I share it with others. I share it with people that I feel like they're even in competition with me. Why? Because that puts me under certain kind of pressure that I have to come up with even better ideas and that I have to perform even more, because not like now that they know my idea, if it's like really good, they're going to start working on it. And if they feel like, whatever, then maybe it wasn't a good idea in the first place. And kind of if they start working on it, then I feel like, oh my God, this is serious. I need to sit down and work on this. And I need to get this done, right? And that's the thing. You want to have some kind of external motivation as well, not just the internal one, because that is going to fail you. What are you going to do on the days where you get up and just don't feel like it? What are you going to do on the days where kind of everything crumbles or falls apart and you're like, man, I just don't want to do it. It's much easier if you have other people also kind of either depending on you, so you have to struggle through it, or that hey, there's like a group of people that are also getting up every day and they're doing the work, so I feel inspired to do the work as well, because I want to belong. I want to be together in that tribe. And that is the magic of the mastermind. So if you want to do the first step of creating a natural feeling, awesome life, go and join the Artful Maestro Inner Circle. Link is down below. And I said, you probably know this already, because when you, let's say, joined your class in studies, you found yourself with like-minded individuals who wanted to perform on a higher level. And you kind of shared similar goals, right? So you kind of already were put into a mastermind. You were just unaware of it. Do you remember what kind of progress you did? Like how much it skyrocketed just by you hanging out with them, talking to them, going through the challenges, creating different strategies, right? And this was done all unconsciously because like the circumstances created this. So you were put into a mastermind group. And imagine now, wherever you are in your life, that you go and create these circumstances for yourself. So again, you can put yourself in a mastermind group, but now you have full and total control who is going to be inside of your group, right? You have full and total control who you are going to associate with. And that is also how you are going to make sure that your life goes in the right direction. I said in the beginning, this can also take a very bad turn, right? And the very bad turn is, you've probably heard of people when they come into like a social circle where people are taking drugs or people are like just behaving in a weird way. I was working with, I was in a coaching program, and this guy told us that he was like a war veteran from Iraq, and then he came back and he didn't know what to do because like obviously the war was traumatic and everything, but then just all of his peers, they also didn't know what to do, and they all just started taking drugs. So he did the same. He started taking drugs, even though he didn't want to, but he just didn't know what else to do, and everybody else was doing that. So that was like this subconscious pull towards what everybody else was doing anyway. And it took him a lot of time and effort to kind of grow out of that situation and turn his life around and go to the place where he wants to be. So even if you not take the decision to create a mastermind, if you say, oh no, I'm fine, you are going to stay stuck like in what your social circle is. And there's this saying of look at the five people closest to you. So that's how your life is. That's how your life is going to become. If you look at the 5 people closest to you. Because you are going to subconsciously adapt to them. And that's not something that you want to leave up to chance. So start taking control, taking responsibility of your surrounding. Start taking control of your social circle. And again, like that's the reason why I do an application for the Artful Maestro Inner Circle. I don't want to have anybody in it, but people have to actually qualify. They have to say what they're into, like what their goals are, and also show up to do the work. Like you can't just say, oh, I want to go there, but never do anything. Like I had someone like that who studied with me who was always, oh, I want to be like the best pianist, the most famous one. But when it came to practicing, he didn't really show up to do the work. So you want to show up to do the work, and you want to have your goals aligned with it. And then you want to find like-minded people to support you on that journey. And this is not just about playing. This is now career related. This is about networking. This is about marketing. This is about finding program ideas. This is about how to build a fan base. This is about involving your audience in the concerts, growing together, creating something new, something unique, something that has never been done before. This is what it is about. And I'm looking forward to getting to know you personally and to getting to work with you personally. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope it rang like at least one bell, but maybe you have the whole bell tower in your head ringing and knowing, if I want to go to the next level, I'm going to make sure that my social circle reflects that level. Take care and see you in the next episode.